Good day and welcome back to Iran Daily Newsfeed. The Islamic Republic military has launched an annual exercise near the mouth of the Gulf of Oman on Sunday. Tehran's deputy army chief claims exercise to take place in the Gulf of Oman, Indian Ocean, and parts of the Red Sea. State television quoted Admiral Mahmoud Mousavi, the spokesman for the Zulfiqar 1400 drill. The military exercise in Iran's coast on the Gulf of Oman is to display the regime's military might and readiness to confront our enemies. As a warning to the neighboring countries, Tehran announced it would begin Sunday a large-scale exercise in the Gulf of Oman, the northern part of the Indian Ocean, and in sections of the Red Sea. It is expected to cover an area of over 1 million square kilometers in southeast of Iran, stretching from eastern side of the Strait of Hormuz to the northern part of the Indian Ocean, as well as parts of the Red Sea, the Army General claims. The Islamic Supreme Court has converted the stoning sentence of married men and women allegedly charged with adultery to death by hanging. According to state-run Rokna news agency, the man identified as Maysam and the woman identified as Sara, arrested on adultery charges in 2020, were sentenced to stoning in a preliminary trial. They were arrested on 24th of December 2020 following a complaint by Maysam's wife. Iran is one of the 6 countries to retain stoning in law. Under the interpretation of Islamic Sharia law in force since Iran's 1979 revolution, adultery is punishable by stoning. In Iran, death by stoning, which is considered as barbaric by the international community, is a method of capital punishment sanctioned for adultery in Article 255 of the Islamic Penal Code. An official said transit of goods via Iran has decreased by more than 50%. According to reports, Iran can have an annual transit capacity of 80 million tons of goods and $8 billion in foreign exchange income. But in the past year, less than 5 million tons of goods were transited from Iran. In a report provided by Islamic Consultative Assembly, Turkey's competition to become a major transit hub in the region is a serious threat. Iran has the lowest share of good transit among Pakistan, Afghanistan, Turkmenistan, Azerbaijan, Georgia, and of course Turkey. The Ministry of Intelligence announced it had identified more than 150 members of the main network and leaders of the unique finance company in 19 provinces of Iran and had arrested them with judicial warrants. According to the reports, the heads and founders of the pyramid method, who are in neighboring countries, have introduced themselves as an international company in the field of buying and selling shares of reputable companies in foreign exchanges. The ministry claims it has prevented a large amount of capital from leaving the country. Pyramid scheme companies began gaining popularity in Iran around 2000s. But the Islamic authorities banned their activities in 2006, as had already been done in the United States and the United Kingdom. The Islamic court announced 15 employees and contractors of the Kahrizag municipality have been arrested for alleged financial charges. According to the reports, the detainees have been convicted of embezzlement, bribery, aiding and abetting bribery, negotiating to receive money and obtaining illicit property, and committing fraud against the municipality. A judiciary official said an investigation into the case is under processing. Iran has slipped in the Corruption Perception Index in 2019 as the top spot is shared by New Zealand and Denmark. The Islamic Republic's top officials are the main source of economic problems in Iran, as the head of Mostazafan Foundation in an interview with state-run TV in 2020 disclosed some aspects of the Islamic Republic's institutionalized corruption. Giant financial institutions owing 60% of Iran's national assets under the control of Ali Khamenei are tax deducted. Corruption Perception in Iran Index has dropped as it's the 146th least corrupt nation out of 180 countries, according to 2019 Corruption Perception Index reported by Transparency International. Since the serious rights violator Ebrahim Raisi, the current president in Iran, was appointed as the head of the country's judiciary, the so-called anti-corruption campaign has continued its alleged mission to purify the Islamic regime and arrested hundreds of mid-level administrators, but not the top correct officials. Raisi, known as the executor Ayatollah for his role in 1988 mass executions, followed in Larijani's footsteps to annihilate his rivals. Iran, however, ranks among the most corrupt countries. Iran's administrative corruption has increased dramatically in the recent years. In 2019, Western Europe and the EU are the highest scoring region with the average of 66 out of 100, while Sub-Saharan Africa is the lowest scoring region with 32 points. Both regions have kept an unchanged average since 2018, but Iran has been ranked 149th of 180 countries in the 2020 Corruption Perception Index of Transparency International. There is a link between corruption and democracy's health that Iran has never benefited from in the past for decades. And that was all for today. I'm Kate, and thank you for the privilege of your time.